It is a mustard seed right now.
I'm gonna correct you too, because like I feel like a lot of people feel like they need to be at some linear space with their faith with God, like somewhere on a timeline
before they can
say like, oh, I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
But you know, when you look back and it's like God chose the complete opposite. I mean, literally, Paul, like out here, literally actively killing people.
Yeah.
That believe Gentiles and stuff like that. That believed in the new good news. And, bro, like the fact that you are having the worst 2 months of your life can make you that much more of a believer. All right. Welcome to the Jonversations podcast. It's your host, John Roberts. I have the one and only Tyler. I don't know your real last name though.
My last name is Wright. My artist name is Tyler Donovan. My full name is Tyler Donovan Wright.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dude.
I thought it was Kendrick.
I literally have your name as Tyler Donovan in my phone. And then there was a moment where I had to mention your name. I was like, oh yeah, Tyler Donovan. And they were like, who is that?
I'm surprised by that because they know me here. So I don't know.
Somebody being fake out there.
They know me. But anyway, that was terrible. No, the building where we're at, some of the staff, they know who I am.
Yeah.
Not like I'm a big deal.
Yeah. Really you're a big deal, bro. That's why I have you here.
Fair, I'll take it.
But people supporting, I wanted to have a conversation with my man Tyler. I think the purpose of this conversation is to have a conversation and just talk about you and the things that you have going on and highlight yourself, but also give people something tangible that can help them with their walk with Christ. And whether it's new or existing believers, but it doesn't have to be, it's not going to be this flowery, my life is perfect thing.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people look at believers like that, and I want people to know that it's not always pretty. Even when things are good, it's not always pretty.
Yeah.
So I think just what's on your plate right now, a lot of people can relate.
Yeah.
And they need to hear it from somebody still standing up out of that valley.
Yeah.
I give you full reign to start wherever you want to start, but why don't you talk about Gasping for Air?
Yeah, Gasping for Air, that is an album that I put out earlier this year on my 32nd birthday. It's a project I worked on for 6 years, pretty much from my time when I moved back to the Hampton Roads area, from where I'm originally from, which is Northern Virginia, Stafford, Fredericksburg.
Gotcha.
All that fun stuff. I usually say like the album is it was like a journal of that time. So like from 2017 to like 2022, covers a lot of things. The main theme of it is like the cycles of self-sabotage.
Okay.
And trying to not just keep faith, but develop and grow faith while you're in that valley. That the album cover, shout out to Malik Radford. The album cover is literally 2 illustrations of me. One is a far off image of me on the mountaintop celebrating, super happy, but the forefront is me climbing, battered, beat up clothes, kind of where I'm at now, you know what I'm saying? And climbing out of the valley.
100%.
Which was definitely intentional because I think, there's definitely some happy-go-lucky songs on there. There's definitely some up songs on there, but there's also some darker, I don't even want to say darker, but just more vulnerable, more transparent stuff. And yeah, so it's definitely, and it doesn't fall into the lane of like a CHH or something like that, but it does, it does have those honest, vulnerable moments. The last verse on a song actually, there's a bridge on a song called Versailles, and then the last verse on Crossroads are literally I'm just they're just direct conversations with God. And then Crossroads actually ends with a poem by my good friend Michael Anderson, who is the Next Steps director at Wave Church. Shout out to Mike.
Shout out Mike. Look like you know who he looks like, bro.
Who are you gonna say? Because I have one.
Go ahead.
No, you go first.
He looks like John Bellion, bro.
Bro, so he does look like John Bellion. I say he looks like Mr. Crocker from Fairly Odd Parents.
Oh my God, that is messed up.
And he hates it, but he looks like him. Pull up a picture. That's my boy, though. No, Mike is that's a really, really good dude. I've known Mike for a long time, actually.
Y'all went to ODU together?
I didn't know him from ODU. I knew him from Wave. So what is the 6 now at at Wave? It used to be called Soul Central, I think is what it
was
used to be
something before
called.
that too.
I don't know, but this was like 2012, 2013, something like that.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure I met Mike there through my boy Roswell.
Gotcha.
Who's a super, super, super just talented creative. He does everything really, really well. And it's like, bruh. And we kind of look alike. So we used to call each other twins and stuff. But yeah, I really got to know Mike when I came back, rededicated at the 6 had to have been 2017 because it was before my surgery. And then he helped me get baptized after my surgery. So it was really cool to have him close out that song with a really, really dope poem.
Oh, so he wrote the poem?
Yeah, he wrote the poem.
Oh, wow.
He wrote the poem. I don't know if we can say this, but so that's my boy. I don't know if I was supposed to say that. If I wasn't, I'm sorry, but
it's all good.
My guy.
If we need to bleep it out,
we can revise it. It's fine.
But so it sounds like, this valley you talk about. So like, does music help you stay close to God, or does it help you stay honest with Him?
Both. So writing it keeps me close to Him. In some instances, I'm not going to sit here and front and act like every song that some of it is flesh based, and some of it is ego, and some of it is I'm still a rapper. You know what I'm saying? So, but I definitely feel that I communicate the best to Him through music, which is why I'm very grateful to be able to do it. And I think the cool thing is like, I see it at shows, and I hear it when people come up and talk to me, whether they like heard a song or they saw me at a show or whatever, and they can feel it. They can feel like they're connecting. Now, it's not, I can't, what Kanye say? I can't convert atheists into believers. I'm not here to do that. No one can make that decision but you, right? But if me just telling my story, because that's all Gasping for Air is. It's a testimony. Like, I don't know why I was beating around the bush with it, because when I was planning it like 2-3 years beforehand, like trying to figure out like marketing and how I wanted to describe it, I literally put it as a testimony, because I looked at it like Good Kid, Mad City.
Okay, gotcha.
By Kendrick. That album is a testimony to me.
About him not being a hood dude.
Right, but growing up in that environment.
Right.
But if you listen to that album, it literally starts and ends with the Redeemer's Prayer.
Gotcha. 100%. You're absolutely right.
So I kind of took that. There were other influences as well, of course. John Bellion, King's Kaleidoscope.
Okay.
Andy Mineo, like his Neverland 2 project. That was like really, really. It showed me that, again, I am a Christian and I rap. I don't classify myself in the CHH space.
Gotcha.
I have friends and people that are in that space and that are doing very well. Me personally, I'm not in that space yet.
Let me ask you this. So as I'm scrolling around and stuff like that, there's a lot of Christian rappers coming out, bro.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Like, like I feel like it almost feels like a paradigm shift. Like
Well,
it like
Well, because it used to be corny.
Yeah.
The idea of it is, of a Christian rapper used to just be corny.
yeah.
Which is unfortunate because like you look at someone like Lecrae, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm the biggest Lecrae fan, but I respect him because he, in my opinion, was the bridge to make it not corny.
100%.
And then like because of him and through like Reach Records and all that stuff, we get Andy. You come down to the next generation, you have No Big Deal, who is incredible. You have John Keith, who is incredible. Like you have Jared Sanders, who's a little bit older. He's part of the God Over Money team and like with Bizzle and all of that. But he's from where I'm from. He's from Fredericksburg. So I've known Jared. There's probably a video of us in a cypher years ago.
Wow.
But yeah, no, I think it's blossoming because like you look at like Caleb Gordon and I know I'm gonna miss people, but 1K Few, like there's a lot, and I love it because again, it's taking the corniness out of it without losing the purpose behind it.
100%.
And it's like you can make purposeful, faith-based music, and it's dope. Yeah. Like it's not like one doesn't have to sacrifice for the other, and I'm very, very appreciative of that.
That's dope, man. Yeah, because I'm scrolling through like TikTok and stuff like that. I'm like, dang, this guy's like rapping about music and like or rapping about like Christianity and like faith and stuff like that. And it's just like, you know, I was scrolling around and I seen Daddy Yankee like on tour, like just announced it like it was this big thing, which it is.
Yeah.
But it just kind of makes me think like, why are people doing that back to back?
I don't know because I'm not them, but I think just the veil's coming off, bro. I think the veil is just dropping, and I think we are at a turning point where it's been longer than that, but as far as like mainstream media goes, the last like 20, 30 years for sure, a lot of it has been just really processed and artificial, and there's no soul in it, and there's no realness in it. And I guess, for me, I just imagine that people are just tired of it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, no. And then just we're like, the real world is still happening. Like there's still like real life stuff happening. Yeah. So like at some point you just get tired. Like you can't have that facade up all the time, because either you're going to turn into that facade completely and then you're just an empty shell,
right? Or
you say enough is enough, and it's like and people grow and people change, and you know what I mean. Like there are people who did not believe in Jesus in any capacity, was speaking against it, right? You know what I mean, and then. This proves how great of a Christian I am, because I don't know what character it is in the Bible, but I believe please correct me if I'm wrong.
I will.
Was it Paul?
Yeah, killing people. Mm-hmm.
Like, bro, like, so it's a beautiful thing to see, and so it's like I don't know. I personally enjoy it. I just think it's really, really cool. I hope and pray that it's all with the purest intentions. Yeah. I hope that it's not someone seeing, oh, this market is starting to boom and it's starting to grow, and let me just go and
capitalize.
Because that happens too. Yeah. And people are just like, okay, let me just say Jesus' name 50 times. Yeah. But there's nothing edifying about it.
But then that makes it all the worse, because like if you do decide to pick up this cross and like play in this space, and you have the wrong intention, when the truth comes out, the people that actually need a real relationship with God and like are really going through the valley, they're gonna be like, oh, well, this guy had made great music, but is doing some crazy stuff on the side. Like, I don't want to like.
And what if that is the only legit representation that they have about it?
Absolutely.
Like, again, I'm nowhere near the perfect role model. None of us are, but like, I'm nowhere near the perfect example of what a Christian is. I'm still on my walk just like everyone else. Yeah. My thing is, I'm not gonna beat you over the head with it, but I'm also not gonna shy away from it either.
Right.
Like, it's one of those things where if you want to have the conversation, we can have the conversation. I've never shied away from that, and I never will. That's just my thing. But I also understand the art in, I don't want to say subtlety, but for lack of better words, subtlety.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's just in how you act.
Right.
It doesn't have to be what you say. 9 times out of 10, people can see when the words and the actions don't line up. That's why I try to be just as transparent as possible. Yeah, I try to be very motivational and uplifting and everything like that. At the same token, if I'm going through something, I'm gonna let you know I'm going through something.
Right.
Like, these past 2 months have been 2 of the hardest months of my life.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I'm not gonna just mope and act like I don't have any sort of faith. We just faith the size of a mustard seed, right?
100%.
That's what I got. It is a mustard seed right now.
I'm gonna correct you too, because like I feel like a lot of people feel like they need to be at some linear space with their faith with God, like somewhere on a timeline
before they can
say like, oh, I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
But you know, when you look back and it's like God chose the complete opposite. I mean, literally, Paul, like out here, literally actively killing people.
Yeah.
That believe, Gentiles and stuff like that. That believed in the new good news. Mm-hmm. And bro, like the fact that you are having the worst 2 months of your life can make you that much more of a believer because of the fact that you are acknowledging that you're in this valley. Mm-hmm. And the fact that you aren't perfect and you don't know the verses and you like all the colory, cute stuff that we all want to, you know, when a situation pops up, we want to be able to recite a Bible verse right away. Like none of that stuff matters, bro. Like you being transparent and the person that you are can touch probably more people. Not that it's like a game or like to rally up however many people you touch, but like the fact that you are transparent and say that I'm going through stuff, but you can say that my faith is the size of a mustard seed is just as impactful, if not more, than somebody that goes to church every Sunday. Yeah. Because let's be real, you got people that go to church on Sunday, and you got people that they're in church every day of the week. Yeah. And when you're in church, yeah, you might, you know, give glory and raise your hand, but like when you go home on Monday, like the next day on Monday, like you back in reality.
A friend of mine literally, this is so crazy you say that. A friend of mine literally sent me a video last night of him. I don't know if it's his song. I really hope it is because it was really, really good. Mm-hmm. But he was just playing, I think it was either an acoustic ukulele, something. Mm-hmm. And one of the lines was, and I'm paraphrasing, but the line was, sick and tired of Sunday best. Yeah. Running out of people to impress or something like that. And I felt that conviction too, because like I'll sing on Sunday, you know, we've served together, and I'm all in and I leave it out there. And then I go back to my reality, and that same
energy,
faith and energy and conviction and everything like that, I don't have anymore because I'm outside of those 4 walls, which is something that I have no problem admitting because I know that I have to work on it. Right. 6 months ago, 12 months ago, I wasn't, and again, I don't have the best Devo life. I don't have the best devotional life, but you know, I do pray every day. I do try to get some sort of scripture, some sort of devotional into me every day. I try to listen to sermons and things of that nature. I'm trying. Yeah. And I think God is more pleased with the attempt than someone who robotically does it just because they feel that it's what they're supposed to. Excuse me. Yeah. And so that's because I know that there's a lot of the term lukewarm Christian kind of gets
thrown out there.
It's a real thing.
It is.
It's a real thing. But sometimes I think it gets it just becomes like this blanket statement
100%.
for people that are actually trying to change their life.
100%.
And it's hard.
It is hard.
Like it's unless yes, when we confess with your mouth, believe in your heart, confess in your mouth that Jesus saved us, and great, we are a new creation in the spirit and we're saved.
But you still got to go home that night.
And you're still in your flesh, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like I said, this is me discipling you, because even in my own valleys, I think people forget that when they see believers, they see like, okay, their money's right. Yeah. Their finances are right. Yeah. Their relationships are right. Yeah. And they feel like that is the only place where God shows up at, when people are getting good things. Yeah. But he is just as close to you and just as powerful,
if not closer.
If not closer. I mean, the Bible literally says, I can't remember what verse it is, but he's there in your weakness. Yeah. He is just as powerful as he is somebody that is, you see them getting the things that they want, and the people that are not getting the things that they want when they want them. Yeah. Bro, I had no idea God was doing this to me. And this wasn't like I had a dream and I heard him. Yeah. Because I think a lot of people wait for that moment too. Me.
I've definitely done that.
And like, let's be real. Like, I'm not going to get on this podcast and talk to the guests. I'm talking with y'all. Yeah. And I think people need to hear this, because the valley is just as important as the deliverance. Mm-hmm. And God is just as powerful as he is when you're down, just as strong when you're down. No matter if your like emotional and mental baggage is 5 million pounds, or you're as light as a bird when things are good. Yeah. He moves just as powerful in the weakness and in the strength. And bro, when I was struggling with what I wanted to do with this podcast, I don't know if you know him, but Lorenzo, you know? You probably don't know him.
Probably if I saw his face. I'm good with faces. I'm terrible with names.
He said, and I'm going to beat this until it turns pink. Yeah. He said, you need to start a Christian podcast. And my response was, well, why would I do that? Nobody would listen to it. But it took me 2 times to listen to him and do it. Yeah. And I listened to him. Fast forward, my dad gets diagnosed with cancer. And I was like, dude, if I'm going to be a faith-based podcast, I got to read the Bible more. Yeah. I got to be able to talk about it and not just be like a preacher, but like relatable. Yeah. And bro, I spent a year and 9 months reading the Bible, struggling with work. My relationship with my girlfriend, Monica, was great. Very distant. Like, my coping mechanism was being busy. Like staying busy. Damn. But I didn't know that my dad would pass away. Yeah. And I was just like reading the word so I could be intelligent and knowledgeable of the word. So if I were asked a question or whatever, like just like the outside of it, but like I had no idea. I couldn't feel it because my dad hadn't passed yet, and I still had faith that he was going to be healed. Yeah. When he passed, and up until he passed, and I'm still grieving and dealing with it and all the stuff with my family, but like I felt like a crazy amount of peace and strength. Yeah. Like the day he passed away, I literally did a documentary and a podcast the week after he passed away. Jeez. Not that I'm invincible, but I felt 2 things. Like I had a responsibility to let people know that, hey, my father just passed away. Yeah. He's 55 years old. Yeah. I have a brother and sister and a mom, and I'm the oldest son, and I feel like I have this responsibility to take care of my family, like as a man should. But the more important part is I didn't realize that I was being covered as I was walking through that valley. Yeah. Because I didn't have deliverance. I didn't have I wasn't doing well at work. Like everything around me was like crumbling. Yeah. He passed away and it was like, okay, 180. And when I realized that, after he passed away, 2 weeks after he passed away, I was like, why do I feel so okay right now?
Wow.
Like, why do I feel like I can go to sleep better
Yeah.
than before? Like, why am I the month might, bro? I want you to really hear this because we talked about giving people something tangible, but I might give you something tangible.
I'm here. I'm part of this.
Listen, bro. The month my dad passed away was my best sales month my entire career.
Wow.
My entire career. Even before he was diagnosed.
Yeah.
When I thought I was hot.
Yeah.
Like doing what I was supposed to be doing. Like last month was my best month ever out of 6 years.
Wow.
So that valley is, because let's be real, bro. Like you said it earlier, when you get to the mountaintop, you've got to get to the next mountain.
There's another mountain, which means there's going to be a valley at some point.
There's going to be another valley. Yeah. So like I always say, like if you can anticipate those valleys, and really lock in, the mountaintop is not the important part.
Yeah.
You know?
That's really affirming, man, because I don't know what it's like to lose a parent. I do know the feeling of a parent having cancer. Mm-hmm. And it's not easy.
Bro, the day my mom texted me that it was a Sunday.
Yeah.
The day my mom texted me, it was 8:59. I was at Norfolk. Mm. You know what time we start?
Yeah.
9 o'clock.
Yeah.
I was on the piano. She sent me the text. 100%, bro.
That's so crazy.
I played through that whole thing.
Yeah.
And the rest of the week was he just went from here down.
Jeez.
So like I want you to realize that the valley is so important, bro.
Well, no, I feel you, and I'll say this. So, this had to have been, it was either last year. It had to have been 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. So, I had a really, 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 really close relationship with my aunt, who was my godmother. She's my mom's sister. One of the best singing voices I've ever heard in life. Mm-hmm. Her and my mom. They're both insane.
They're like that.
Understatement. I grew up singing in church.
Okay.
And my aunt, Aunt Gail, she was my choir director. Mm-hmm. So I'd see her all the time, rehearsals, things that, whatever, right? It was 21. Jeez Louise. So August of 21, my birthday weekend, I do a show in it was for my 30th birthday. I did a show in Virginia Beach. And so my mom, my grandma, two of my aunts, including my Aunt Gail, my cousin, my whole family comes down. Mm. Now they don't come to the show, but I'm scheduled. Well, my mom and them came to the show, but the story is about Aunt Gail. Aunt Gail didn't come to the show, but she was at church that next day. I was rostered. My Aunt Gail hadn't seen me lead worship ever. She saw me as part of the choir, but even in the choir, like I think I did one solo once. You know what I mean? So she had never seen me lead worship. But she's the reason why I lead worship.
Right.
And then like 2 months later, she passes away.
Dang.
And that same thing about like feeling at peace and not really being able to explain it or understand it. Mm-hmm. That's how I felt, where I don't have a lot of those for the people that I've lost, especially in the past like 2 months. Because like I said, I lost somebody to suicide.
Yeah.
My cousin is currently missing. God willing, by the time that this episode comes out, we'll find him.
Yeah.
And then I found out that one of my best friends from my childhood got killed last year, and I'm just finding out.
Dang.
But all three of those people, I can't tell you the last memory that I have with them. Right? But I will always remember the last memory that I had with my Aunt Gail, because it was her being able to see me purely just do one of the things that I love to do. And just even after going to get brunch and like we're able to talk in ways that like me and other family members can't talk.
100%.
Especially like with singing and music and stuff like that.
Yep.
Like she could tell like if I hit like a note kind of iffy, she could see me like kind of twitch and she was like, that note was fine. Don't worry about it. Like just, and that is something that I will always remember, and that kind of gives me that peace. I don't know how it is as far as like with you and your dad. I can imagine there is that peace and understanding of like he's not in pain anymore.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to worry about chemo or whatever or treatment or whatever the case was. Because that's how I feel about my dad because he beat brain cancer.
Oh wow.
And I'm so happy that like he doesn't have to because that was the strongest dude I know.
Bro,
so
same.
You feel me? So
yeah,
it's man. There's like even now like I've had like a lot of people reach out because like I said, the stuff with my cousin happened, the stuff with my friends happened, like all of that happened within a 2-month period. And like a lot of people are reaching out, which I do want, because I'm sure some of them are going to watch this. I do want to say thank you.
Yeah.
Because it means so much, because usually I'm the one reaching out. So the fact that they reached out really meant a lot. But, you know, I took my time to process it. I don't know if I've gotten all of it out yet, but I have that same peace.
Yeah.
And it was weird because I didn't even think of it as peace until you said it. I thought it was me becoming numb to it. But
I can sleep at night, bro.
Bro.
I'm serious.
Like,
I really can. Like, and I was like, am I
tripping?
Am I like a psychopath? Because like, I'm supposed to be sad.
Like, do I not care? Like, but it's like, I know for me, the one thing that was kind of central about all of the people that I've lost, which is really weird to think about, but like they all knew how much and how intentional I was with music. They know how much I loved it. They know that it wasn't just for my personal gain. They knew that, how I said earlier about how I feel like that's how I communicate the best with God. That's
100%.
that's how I feel like I communicate the best with just people.
Music.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I want to, and they always championed it. So for me, you know, I feel like the best way that I can honor that is to just lean in and to just go even harder.
Yeah.
You know, and so I want to encourage you with that as far as, well, first of all, because I know we're talking about the pod right now. I have never heard anyone play keys like you.
Oh, thanks, bro.
No, I'm dead serious. Like, I really hope.
I'm going to show you a picture, actually.
We'll edit it and put it in the video.
Maybe.
Shing.
So.
The power of post-production.
This was me and my pops.
Oh, wow. Wow. Oh, you're his son for real.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So
John.
when I was like young, my dad would always play the piano. And I have another thought, so I'm gonna try to remember it.
Okay.
He always played the piano. I was like, Dad, like, can you teach me how to play? But my fingers were so small as a kid, I couldn't, play like octave to like a C to C.
Yeah.
So he would try to sit me down. I would sit in his lap like that, and he would try to teach me, and I got so frustrated. I just lost my patience for it.
Yeah.
And then one day I turned I was about 3 since I've been playing since I was 3, but never taken a lesson before. But I don't brag about that because I do want to take lessons to get very, very, very good.
Yeah, you want to master your craft. I get it.
Yeah,
but let's stop there for just a second, and let's not act like that's normal.
Yeah,
that's not normal at all, dude.
Yeah, so
that's amazing.
Thank you. But then there was a day where he'd always just tell a story. He would say, I walked up to him and said, Dad, like, I want you to teach me everything you know about the piano.
Wow.
And he didn't know very much, like music theory wise, but like soul, which is like, if you hear me play on the side, like that's like what I go to, like Erykah Badu, Robert Glasper type stuff.
I know.
And
I hear it.
So Yeah, so
Bro, we'll be on Sundays.
Yeah.
And if I'm singing something, you'll play like something on the side.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, hey.
yeah.
I love that because like I could tell like you're playing for him.
Yeah.
And I can imagine, especially now, you're also playing for your dad.
Yeah, 100%.
Because like I sing for my Aunt Gail.
Yeah.
You know, and so that picture was crazy. Like, yo,
yeah, dude.
exactly
So he taught me everything he knew, which wasn't a lot. And then he said one day, I was like 5 or 6, and it just clicked. Like literally, it literally just clicked. And I don't remember when that happened, but like I do remember one day just being able to play a lot better.
Yeah.
And just being able to understand it. But that's neither here nor there. I appreciate the compliment though.
No, it's the truth, bro. And I love musicians. So like and just like pure musicians, because I'm the same. Like I did choir and stuff, but like I never took like vocal lessons. I never did anything like that. I'm not like classically trained or anything. Like
I want to be classically trained.
I'm at the point now where like I will have to get voice lessons soon, just because like I do want to sing better live.
Yeah.
But that again, that's just an investment into your craft.
100%.
You know, and we're supposed to do that.
Yeah.
Like it's not like we're just supposed to have this raw skill and we just keep it as a raw skill.
You know Corey Henry?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so him, that's a lot my inspiration.
Yeah,
where I get my inspiration from. But
no, Corey's insane.
This was a thought that I had when we were kind of discussing the valley.
Mm-hmm.
So you're making music. This is how you communicate with God.
Yeah.
But life is still happening.
Yeah.
During this process of creating this project in life, how mad have you been at God?
You know what?
If you were or weren't.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know if it was misplaced anger, because I was and still am in some aspects very mad at myself for different reasons. The big of which is I just feel like, so I moved, this isn't to set up anything, but I moved down here because I got out of a relationship and I had no reason to stay where I was at. And so I came back down here because I was comfortable here.
Got it.
Even with how the relationship ended, I don't need to go into details. Those that know. I was always more mad at myself than anything else because I always think it's my fault. And not from like a narcissistic, I'm trying to get sympathy or anything like that. People wouldn't know unless they drug it out of me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like when no one believed me when I would tell people that like I was suicidal, and I still struggle with that. Like I still struggle with suicide ideation to this day. Like no one ever believes me. Like, and I don't need them to believe me. If anything, I'm glad that they would be shocked in that, and not because I try to put up a front or put up a fake perception of me or anything like that. But I guess my mentality was always just like, why bring people into your crap? You know, which isn't healthy, because that's what community's for, and I'm working on that and I'm being more open. But again, music was the best way for me to do that. So that's why on the album there are songs like Exhale and Tempest Eye and Intervention, which are all basically putting the mirror up to myself and being like, this is how I'm feeling. There's a part on Exhale where I say, I was mortified. What kills me slowly makes me so alive. That's talking about my dependency to different vices, whether like drinking, smoking weed, like whatever, right? I had to tiptoe on the borderline, sort of hide. No, I won't apologize. You missed the old me. Yeah, well, so do I. I didn't do this to be glorified. Dang. Please, Lord, restore my soul. It's cold inside. Dang. Like, that's literally the
Let's
end.
pause there.
Like,
because those 8 bars were like,
yeah,
that's people's life right now, bro.
Yeah.
And it's really people's life.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where I've never... There was never a point, to get back to the original question. No, I don't know if I was ever mad at God, because I had enough understanding to know that they beat it into my head when I was in church, like as a kid. Mm-hmm. God is good all the time.
That's a big statement and very hard to believe. Yeah, but it was one of those where, and I guess it was like subconsciously. So that's why I would always just be like, oh, okay, I'm the problem. Cue Taylor Swift. It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. Like, but the disconnect was, yeah, I may have been the problem. Some situations I put myself in, other situations were lessons I needed to learn, whatever the case may be. But the disconnect was, there was a moment in time where I felt that God was very far away from me. Mm. So that's why, like what you said earlier about when you're in the valley, he's closer and more powerful. And to think, like, the stuff that he's protecting you from that you don't know about. Bro, that's like 10 years down the road.
No, I'm just talking about right now in the moment. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? And like, I really, again, I don't know every story in the Bible, but the ones that I know, I latch on to. And 100%. So I think about the disciples in the boat. Yes. And they're going through this crazy storm, and Jesus taking a nap and was like annoyed when he wake up, bruh.
I'm trying to sleep.
This is what you and I think that's what God. I think that's how he looks at us. Like, he understands it and he sympathizes with us because he knows that we're not him, and his ways are bigger than ours, and his thoughts are better than ours, and everything like that. But I know there's got to be times where he's just like,
Tyler, are you serious,
when he said, "Ye of little faith," right? Yeah. The modern day version of that is like, bruh, like, for real.
Absolutely.
This is what you're tripping about. And I think, while I was working on the album, there were definitely a lot of conversations, and there's definitely a lot of prayers that I had where I think that if there was like you know how they do like Spotify Wrapped? If there was like a prayer wrapped, I think
this verse,
like the top one would be like, God, if I am not supposed to be doing music, if this is not what I'm supposed to do, please tell me. Please redirect me. Please. Yeah. I've prayed that prayer so many times, John.
Keep praying it, bro.
And yeah, my oh snap! I think the mic went out. Oh, that was me. My fault. So yes, I do keep praying it, but at the same time, I think at some point I have to apply my faith with it, because most time, especially like, dog, just in this last year, not even in the last year, like just in the last 6 to 7 months, I played Something in the Water. I've done countless shows in Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Richmond, just that whole, I've done that circuit and will continue to do that circuit, but I've just done that whole circuit. The first song that I tried to get on the radio, we got on the radio in 4 different markets. What else did we do? We did our first headlining show, a small intimate show, but we sold it out in a week. Yeah, we moved 40 tickets in a week. We could have moved 100 in a month. Wow. Like, I've had more streams with this album than anything that I've done before. Not just people picking and choosing certain songs. People are listening to the whole album. People are coming and telling me like, yo, this song helped me through this, that, and the third. And as amazing as that is, John, I wrote that album for me. I wrote that album to get my feelings out, to get everything out. Yep. And the fact that it's connecting and it's resonating with people to the point where I can't go out of the house without somebody seeing me.
Bro, let me tell you something.
It's wild, bro.
Let me tell you something, because it's so hard to realize your purpose. Yeah. Especially when you want it to be the right one.
Yeah.
And I think God shows up in very, very weird ways.
Yeah.
And the fact that you created this album for yourself.
Yeah.
Let's highlight the fact that you have one talent to rap. That's the first thing. All gifts are given from God.
Yeah.
They don't come out of thin air.
Yeah.
And let's highlight that because the verse you said earlier was crazy.
I appreciate it.
The second thing is that I want to highlight is you have enough balls to write an album, go perform. I love you to death. Perform in a way that nobody. You sit down.
Yeah,
Tyler.
Yeah.
You sit down. You don't. You can't like. You.
It's very tough to get the crowd. Well, I'm not gonna say it's very tough to get the crowd hype. It's
different.
Yeah.
You can't move around and jump like.
Yeah.
Your voice.
Yeah.
Is, in like, you can listen to like let's just call it the regular rap, the ratchet rap.
Right.
Like, okay, this is a cool beat.
Yeah.
You listen to the beat and you rap the lyrics, stuff like that. There's a hook, there's a verse, and you memorize 2 things about it.
Yeah.
But you can rap. You have enough balls to go around and perform it while sitting down, Tyler.
Yeah.
The magnitude at which you're operating right now is at its peak. Maybe 80%, if you would say.
We're getting there.
Okay.
We're getting there.
So the fact that you can do that and the music was for yourself.
Yeah.
You don't realize like how many people cannot rap but love music.
Right.
Don't
that do music.
That don't music, but do that. Yeah, to both sides. Yeah. But
sorry, that was me.
But they're trapped in this four wall box.
Yeah.
In your courage, which doesn't come from you.
Yeah. No, not even close.
Is helping people.
Yeah.
So, you've got these. I look at it as this. You've got these milestones, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you look back, you didn't think you could get there.
Not even close.
So you performing on something in the water is like, I bet, like I performed on something in the water.
Yeah.
You doing these shows, traveling. I mean, let me tell y'all, this is the busiest dude ever. We've been trying to get this locked in.
We have been trying to get this locked in for a minute.
Like maybe 3 months.
A few months, yeah.
But
you've been busy too. Let's not make it. It's not a one-sided thing.
Yeah. So
you've been busy too.
But yeah, bro, like that is, and when they talk about community, I think the way that I see it is you have to have somebody you can call on when you want to give up.
Yeah.
Not a scheduled thing.
Yeah.
Not a Monday at 6.
Right.
Let's be real.
Yeah.
You need it needs to be a Monday at 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
Where you were like, John, like, I don't want to do music anymore. Like that, I think is community. Yeah. And I'm the cool thing is that I'm very grateful. And I'm realizing more, like this year was very eye-opening as far as the community that I have. And it's been growing over time. Like, but for people to not just come out for like a show that I did for an album that wasn't out yet, but like, and not just music related, like just like with the thing about like my cousin being missing and like my best friend, like one of my best friends passing away, like the amount of people that reached out to me, is really, really cool. And it's really, really appreciated. And I've said it before in different conversations, but like I'm not the biggest fan of myself. Like I'm learning to love myself again. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And the one thing that I do love myself with, or the one thing that I know that I provide value for people is in my art, right? Yeah. But I don't want, my art isn't my identity. 100%. It has been in the past. And that's what led to frustrations and not getting to certain spaces before. Like, bro, I'm 32 years old. I thought I was doing the Norva at 25. Yeah. Right. But
when I do the Norva as a headliner, when I do the Norva and when we sell it out and I step onto that stage, it's going to be so much more fulfilling, and it's going to be affirming to the fact that the song, the one of the last songs on the album is called Crossroads. The hook is this the way to go? Is this the way to be? Is this the way to go? Is this the way to me? Is it real? I don't know. Maybe it's make-believe, but the tree doesn't grow if you don't plant the seed. But when I perform it, the last time that I do the hook, I switch those lyrics and I say, this is the way to go. Mm-hmm. This is the way to be. This is the way to go. This is the way to me. So that's, and it gets confirmed. Again, like I'm not doing this to be the biggest artist in the world, right? Like that's not, maybe that was my goal at like 18.
Yeah.
But that's not my goal now, right? My goal is to encourage people that as long as you have breath in your lungs, no matter what you've gone through, or what you're going through, you have a purpose. You have a call. I say you have a cloud to follow based off of Numbers chapter 9. Read it if you feel so inclined, verses 15 to 23. Long story short, children of Israel, they got out of slavery, and God formed in a cloud. And when I say the cloud is moving, that's in reference to wherever the cloud moved in that story, that's where the Israelites went. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it didn't move. And sometimes it stayed there, and you set up camp, and you chill, and you work, and you cultivate, and you do whatever. And then when that joint starts to move, you pack up your stuff and get back on the road.
Yeah.
And so it's so crazy to me because there are people that may not even know that meaning. Yeah. And then Ninth Nimbus, I just like alliteration. So that Cloud 9, they just tied back in, right? Mm-hmm. But there are people that may not understand what that deep meaning, but they'll see me, and they're like, yo, the cloud is moving. Yeah. Because when they see me, they know they see me either at a show or they see me on social media performing or they see something. It's usually something music related. Because while music isn't my identity, I do think that music is my purpose.
Yes.
I still struggle because I feel like I'm not deserving. You know, I feel like condemnation is still a real thing.
Yeah.
I think Pastor Mike Todd did a message about it called like the cloud of condemnation or something like that. And, but again, I'll just put it this bluntly. If I had the choice to wake up every morning, John, I would have been gone 4 or 5 years ago, bro.
Yeah.
I would have been out of here. As it is what it is. I didn't want to do it anymore. A lot of people, when they deal with suicide ideation, people think that they don't want to live anymore. They just don't want to hurt anymore. Mm-hmm. And that's where I was at. I didn't want to hurt anymore. I didn't want to blame myself for why my last relationship ended. I didn't want to blame myself for why, certain friendships ended or why I'm not in a certain spot in my career or whatever the case may be. And truth be told, I wasn't ready for it yet. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be able to appreciate it because I still haven't learned to appreciate me. Right. When God lives in me, just like God lives in you. And God lives in all of us. Everything that we see is God. This little device, someone designed that. Yeah. Because God gave them the image to design that.
Right, 100%.
He's in everything. So if he's in everything, why do I think I'm so bad that he's not in me? Right. That's what I'm in the process of learning right now. And I know at the top of this, you said that, we want to leave the listeners, whether new believers, existing believers, or, and I'm not trying to add to your podcast, but people who may not know Jesus at all, bro.
100%.
Like, just know whatever. I know what it feels like to not want to wake up. I know what it feels like to not want to be on this earth anymore. But I'm still here. And while I'm trying to figure out what the heck I'm still here for, I know what's been working. I know what's been fulfilling, and not from a selfish standpoint, but because I know that I'm adding value to somebody. I'll tell this, and then I know we got to wrap up soon. But bro, I did a show. This is so crazy. I did a show the day after my album came out, and it was in Virginia Beach, Where the Heart Is Festival. Shout out Raisa and the whole squad. And there was this girl who I believe I had met her at Something in the Water, and I hadn't seen her since Something in the Water, but she had followed me, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And that show was a good show. I'm gonna tell you the truth, I was tired. But because we had a long week. We did like a whole week of promo and different events and all that stuff. And, you know, it was my birthday. I was having fun. So I was tired. Mm-hmm. but we did the show, and it got kind of emotional at one point. I did the song called Intervention, which is really just confronting. Yeah. In a way. And I get off stage. Usually, I mean, you see me after worship, but yeah. I gotta sit down. Don't talk to me. I'm sweaty. I'm tired. Don't talk to me. I'm recovering because I put everything in it. I put everything in it. Mm-hmm. I never try to mail it in. Yeah. Her son, who I had not met, didn't know who he was. She had told me that that they all listened to my stuff, which is already like crazy. Her son couldn't have been no more than 7 or 8 years old. Wow. Just walks up to me, doesn't say hi, doesn't say anything, just walks up and just gives me like the biggest hug. Dang. Like a hug that like you needed. A hug that like 15-year-old me would have given like Lupe or Pharrell. Dang. Or John Bellion. Or like when I met John Bellion, like I couldn't hug him because his security dude was really big. But I was like, dude, you have no idea. Like, he's one of my favorite artists. Oh, bro, he's insane. And one of the nicest people, one of the coolest people I ever met. A very long story short, I did a remix of one of his songs a long time ago. I mashed up Preoccupied off Translations Through Speakers with Biggie's 10 Commandments. Mm-hmm. Somehow, some way, it got to him through the power of the internet. I went to a show he did in Maryland and did the meet and greet, the whole thing. And so I'm like, hey, I don't know, like, do you remember that kid that did the mashup of Biggie and your song? And he was like, yeah, it's my favorite mashup that I've ever heard anybody do. And I was like, oh, snap. Well, hi, nice to meet you. That was me. That was me. It gets crazier. So the song 10 Crack Commandments by Biggie, it starts with a sample 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Bro, there was a part. This was the Human Condition tour. Yeah, so for his first studio album. Bro, there was a part in the show. What was it called? What was the song called? Weight of the World, I think. Yeah, with Black Keys. Black Keys. Shout out to Black Keys. Shout out to Beautiful Mind. Just the whole crew. They're insane. So there's a part in the show where they did it live where they strip everything down, break everything down, and their playback engineer and Mylon, I think is his name. They put the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Dang. In the thing because of a remix that I did on my mom's PC computer while I was sleeping on her couch. So just to put into magnitude the type of hug that I wanted to give this dude, like his song Stupid Deep saved my life so many times. Dude, Stupid Deep is good. If I ever get married, Conversations with My Wife is going to get played at the wedding. Like I sang at my homie's wedding and I was trying to change the song to that, but I was like, that's crossing the line. We're not going to do that. But all of that to say, that was a very long tangent, but all of that to say, like, even if it was just for those 30 minutes, that 7, 8-year-old kid saw me in the same light that I see my heroes. Mm-hmm. And it's like it was really emotional, bro. Like, I had to go and sit for like 10, 15 minutes away from everybody. And again, bro, this is just after my album came out. I just had a sold out show. I just had my birthday. Like, I just had the best week ever. And the highlight of that was that moment with that kid. Yep. And
those are your milestones, bro. I don't want you to forget those in the midst of what you placed your identity in the past. Yeah. You know, with the breakup, with just the notion of thinking that, a lot is your fault.
Yeah.
You know, so remember those moments, and not to be like cliche, but like they're from God, bro.
Mm-hmm.
They're 100% from God, and He is validating how He wants to use you.
Yeah.
You know, like,
and that's why I don't mean to cut you off, but that's why the message of "Don't forget to breathe" is so layered, and that's why the whole breathing theme about the album and everything, like the thing about self-sabotage, the reason it's called gasping for air is because I'm realizing I'm the reason why I'm gasping for air.
Yeah.
Like I'm the one that's stopping it. But that breath is God. Isn't like one of his names, like the living breath or something like that, right? So it's one of those things where that's why I say it in every show. That's why I say it in every podcast. Every chance I get, that every breath is a gift. It sounds super cliche, but every single breath that we get is a gift. And we're here and we have the opportunity. Again, we can't make anybody make the decision to follow Jesus. All we can do is be honest and genuine and say, hey, this is what happened to me.
Yep.
I can relate to you in ways that you may not even think. This is what happened to me. I'm not saying that I have all the answers. I'm not saying I have everything figured out. I'm right there in the valley with you.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're wondering why I have this peace, if you're wondering why I can still tap in and be encouraging, or just on the surface level of, if you're wondering why I'm so nice at what I do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not from me.
Right.
This gift is not from me. Me being able to rap, like, bro, like the whole album, bro, I produced 90% of it. People, like, a lot of people don't know that because I don't put it out there like that. But
So
that's
you're like Kanye West.
I'm Tyler Donovan, but like but I feel you. Like the late registration is why, like, one of the reasons why I do music.
Yeah.
But like, I do a majority of this stuff myself.
Yeah.
Because like I want to present it in the most authentic way where it's me. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't come from me. That's why, like, people want me to like rap and just like talk my talk and just go off. Mm-hmm. And there's a part of me that wants to do that because I know that I'm really good at rapping and like I do want to just go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not in that space right now. And even when I do get back to that space to do like a full project of that,
yeah,
there's still gonna be. I have a song called Cabby Gone where I say, what I say. My image is blemished, but don't get it twisted. This kid here is gifted.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm always gonna, like, yes.
I'm gonna come for your neck.
No, yes. I'm one of the best rappers in the state.
Yeah.
That's never, I said it 3 years ago on an interview. And at first I was like, oh, I don't need to say it. No, I'm one of the, like, I'm nice, bro.
Yeah, you
like,
are.
I'm nice to the point that, like, people that are on that you think are nice, they know who I am.
Yeah.
Legends know walking up to me, dapping me up like, yeah, I know who you are, bro. Dang. One half of one of the greatest rap duos ever did that 2 months ago.
Dang.
And it's not just because, like, they just, no, because I'm nice. If I wasn't nice, they wouldn't have said nothing.
Right.
Like.
And you can suck at rap or be good at rap.
And I'm great at it.
Yeah.
But the reason I'm great at it is because my God gave me that gift, because he knows that with how I flip words, my conviction, my stage presence, all that stuff, he gave that to me. And I'm just trying, I'm not at my peak form yet, bro.
Yeah.
Gasping for air, those are going to be demos compared to what I do in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, because I'm finally allowing the growth to happen.
Yeah.
I'm finally allowing the evolution to happen. And I'm getting hyped because
you're in the right spot, bro.
I'm right where I need to be.
You are in where God wants you to be.
Yeah. And that's why, like, the 180 thing that you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
That's what is getting me through. Bro, the past 2-3 days, I haven't done anything. I've just been in bed.
Yeah.
Like, just trying to figure all this out.
I want to leave you with this. Yeah. And we can close out.
Yeah.
I want you to think about this as often as you can. Think about this. What's more important? If you don't reach your fullest potential, does it impact you more or the people that you were supposed to impact for the rest of your life?
Yep.
Let that be your engine. Let that be your fuel. if I don't reach my fullest potential, who does that impact?
Yep.
And that removes the selfishness, that removes the ego, the pride. When you're given a gift, if it doesn't serve people or help people, it's a hobby.
Yeah.
And your story, your valley is powerful, and people are in the same shoes as you.
I appreciate that. Can I bounce that back to you though, real quick, and then we can go? Because I know you're in the early stages of this podcast.
Yep.
And I know whenever you're starting a new venture, metrics aren't everything.
Yeah.
But when you're like, okay, I do want to reach people, you know what I mean? Like, and I don't know how you are with it. I know for me, musically, if I reach 100,000 people, cool. But if I only impact 100 of them, cool. Because that's still those 100.
Right.
Those other people will catch up.
Yep.
I want to encourage that with you too, because bro, you've had an incredible first season.
Thank you.
With not just with the guests that you've had, but the conversations, like and the going under the surface and getting into the depths of real conversations. Like, we need more of that, especially in the in like the faith-based world.
Yeah.
We need more vulnerable, transparent conversations, and not processed, planned out,
scripted.
I didn't have a script. 15 million talking. No, I appreciate it, because like I certain conversations you need to have talking points to make sure you don't go off the rails.
Yeah.
But for something like this, it's exactly what we need.
None of my episodes have had scripts.
And that's why I just want to encourage you, bro. Like, if you stay with that and you just focus on impact over influence, the influence will come, bro. You're a well-spoken dude.
Thank you.
You're talented beyond all belief. I wish I had your style. You always dress ridiculous. I'm like, bro, how can I just be the fat version of him? He's always has a crazy fit on. Like, you have your heart in the right place. You're doing this for the right reasons. And I don't know everything, but I know one thing. If you have your heart in the right place and you lean in and you put everything you can into it, it's going to get blessed every single time. Your faith steps will get rewarded every single time. So as long as you wake up and as long as you have breath in your lungs, bro, you have that cloud, bro.
Thank you.
Follow it, man.
Thank you so much. And thank you everybody who has listened to this. And I really hope that if you've made it this far, Tyler is a great guy, great artist, but he's relatable. And externally, he's making great music, but like everybody else in this world, we're all struggling.
Yep.
We all, are having a hard time. And you're a walking testimony of following that cloud, So I appreciate you guys for listening. We do have a Bible study every Tuesday at 7:00 at Assembly.
Yes, sir.
So we just get in the Word and learn the truth and have a good time with it. Judge free, like Planet Fitness. But I don't know. They'd be judging for. We're actually a judge free zone.
Planet Fitness be crazy.
Yeah, but yeah. So you guys have a good rest of your day. Appreciate your time and love you all. Peace.
Conversations Podcast, baby.